Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials again. So today we are going to see the subject design of concrete structure 2, lecture number 8. So in previous session we have discussed about the IS code specifications for design of columns. So we will continue it further. So you can see in previous session we have discussed about the introduction. So what is called as column. So few of the important definitions which we have studied. In that, a very important thing which we have studied is uh, effective length. So effective length is denoted by LE. So effective length is very much different from unsupported length, that is denoted by L. So effective length is equal to K into L. So K is a ratio of effective to unsupported length. So we can get it from effective length. We can calculate from IS 456 table number annexure E, table number 28. So by using this we can calculate the effective length. Okay, so I'll just move back to the provisions which we are studying. So you can also move back to page number 40 in IS 456. Just open page number 41. So clause number 25, compression members, just open it. We will move further. You can see over here, if about effective length definition we have studied, what is called as effective length we have studied, what is pedestal we have studied, what is column we have studied, and classification of columns we have studied. So classification of column is based on various types, uh, various techniques. That is, first one is based on the type of reinforcement. In that, first one is tied column. So whenever the column is having the lateral ties, it is called as tied column. Second one is column with helical reinforcement. So circular shape columns usually have helical reinforcement. So you can see over here. Remember, distance between two helical reinforcements is called as pitch. So again, a third one is composite column. So this is based on the type of reinforcement. Next one is based on the uh, loadings. So based on the loadings, you can see it is eccentrically loaded. So you can see either the column is eccentrically loaded or concentrically loaded. So based on the loadings, we can divide the column in three categories. That is, column subjected to axial loads, that is only concentric loads is going to act. Column subjected to combined axial load plus uniaxial bending. So for this I have shown you the figure. You can go through the figure from previous session. So next, column subjected to combined axial load and biaxial bending. So it is shown in the figures above also. So next, you can see based on the slenderness ratio, column is divided as short column or long column. So short columns are the column is said to be short when the slenderness ratio, that is LEX divided by D, and slenderness ratio in major axis, that is LEX divided by D, and slenderness ratio about minor axis, that is LEY divided by B, should be less than 12, should be less than 12. Then only the column is called as short column. So till here we have studied in the previous session. Now for design of column, there are various clauses which are given in the IS 456. So to design the column, we have to design uh, two types of reinforcements, that is longitudinal reinforcement, another one is transverse reinforcement. Transverse reinforcements are nothing but ties which we call as a rings. So longitudinal reinforcements are the vertical reinforcement which you can see in the columns. So you can see for the longitudinal reinforcement there are various clauses which are given in the IS code. So the longitudinal reinforcing bars carry the compressive load along with the concrete. So longitudinal reinforcement bars are vertically placed. That is why they are going to carry compressive loads along with the concrete. So clause number 26.5.3.1 stipulates the guidelines regarding minimum and maximum amount of reinforcement. So number of bars, minimum diameter of bars, spacing of bars, etc. So I will just open that particular clause, that is 26.5.3.1. So 26.5.3.1. 5.3.1. so you can see 26 I have opened. So 26.5.3.1 I am opening. So just you can see 26.5 I have opened. So 26.5.3.1 I have to open. So 26.5.3.1, that is longitudinal reinforcement. You can see this all the things which they have given over here I have listed out here. So same thing I have listed out. So you can see A, B, C, D. So same A, B, C, D I have listed out. So you can see here A, what they have given, the minimum amount of steel should be at least 0.8% of gross sectional area of a column required if for any reason the provided area more than the required area. So at any cost, for any reason, minimum reinforcement should be at least 8% of cross sectional area. For example, let us think that I am providing the column of 230 by 450 mm. 230 mm is a width, 450 mm is a depth. So if I multiply 230 into 450 and if I calculate 0.8% of that, so that much amount of area of steel I have to provide as a longitudinal reinforcement as a minimum, that much amount I have to provide. So you can see maximum amount of steel should be 4% of gross sectional area. So minimum is 0.8%. Remember, it is a 0.8%. So don't get confused. So 0.8%. So it is 4%. Minimum is 0.8%. Maximum is 4%. So unless the column bars are getting lapped, so wherever the bars are getting lapped, there 6% is allowed. 6% is allowed. Now this A and B are about minimum and maximum reinforcement. Now let us see what are the minimum number of bars and what are the maximum number of bars. So 4 and 6 are minimum number of longitudinal bars in rectangular and circular columns. So if I am providing a rectangular column, I can provide minimum 4 number of bars, and if I am providing a circular column, I have to provide minimum 6 number of bars. So this is the minimum number of bars. The diameter of longitudinal reinforcement should be at least 12 mm. So we can't provide 10 mm or 8 mm bars as a longitudinal reinforcement. So for longitudinal reinforcement, minimum we have to provide 12 mm via bars. Okay. Next, columns having helical reinforcement shall have at least 6 longitudinal bars. That is, helical reinforcement is present only in case of circular columns. So in that case, at least 6 number of longitudinal bars are present, must be present within and in contact with helical reinforcement. So all 6 bars should be in contact with helical reinforcement. So helical reinforcement should be tied to all 6 minimum number of bars. The bars shall be placed equidistant along its inner circumferences. So circumference, you can see bar should be placed at equidistance. So at a equal distance in a circumference of a circular column. So you have to place it in a equidistance. So if I consider rectangular column and minimum number of bars, I have to place all these 4 bars at the corner. I am going to tell you why we have to place it at the corner, but just remember that we are going to place it at the corner if we are providing minimum number of bars. Then the bars shall be spaced not exceeding 300 mm along the periphery of the column. So spacing of the bars should not exceed 300 mm along the periphery of the column. The amount of reinforcement for pedestal shall be at least 0.15% of cross-sectional area provided. So you can see if it is a column, minimum percentage of steel is 0.8%. But if it is a pedestal, minimum percentage of reinforcement is 0.15% of cross-sectional area. But here it is gross sectional area. So this is about longitudinal reinforcement. So remember this. Next you can see transverse reinforcement. So transverse reinforcements bars are provided in the form of circular rings. So that's what I have said. So they are providing it in the form of circular rings or polygonal links with internal angle should not exceed 135 degree or helical reinforcement. The transverse reinforcement bars are provided to ensure every longitudinal bar near to compression phase. Now compression phase has effective lateral support against buckling. So column will try to buckle. So to prevent that buckling, we have to provide the lateral ties. So they are also called as stirrups. So as per clause number 26.5.2 stipulated guidelines of arrangement of transverse reinforcement. So you can see 26.5.3.2. So this is about the transverse reinforcement. Arrangement of transverse reinforcements also we have to follow. So longitudinal bars shall not be spaced more than 75 mm on either sides. So transverse reinforcement need only to go around the corners and alternative bars for purpose of providing effective lateral support. So all the information about lateral ties, every information about the lateral ties is given over here. Similarly, about the helical reinforcement information is also given. So you can see I have listed out the things which are given over there in the IS code. So pitch and the diameter of lateral ties. What is pitch? Pitch is nothing but distance between two lateral ties, vertical distance. I am not talking about horizontal distance. Horizontal distance will be there for longitudinal bars. So vertical distance between two lateral ties. So this is a ring, you can able to see this is a cross section. So the vertical distance between the rings or lateral ties is called as pitch. So the maximum pitch of transverse reinforcement shall be least of the following. So maximum distance between the ties should be least of the following. The least lateral dimension of compression member. So least lateral dimension, either width or depth, whichever is least, we have to consider that least lateral dimension. 16 times the smallest diameter of longitudinal reinforcement bar tied. So 16 times smallest diameter of longitudinal reinforcement. So pitch should be 16 times smallest diameter of longitudinal reinforcement, or else 300 mm. So pitch should be minimum of these three criteria. Next, diameter. So diameter of transverse reinforcement are rings. In any case, you can see diameter of polygonal links or lateral ties shall not be less than 1/4 of diameter of largest bar. So 1/4 of diameter of largest bar. For example, if I am providing 32 mm dia bars in as a longitudinal reinforcement, so 32 divided by 4 we have to do. So it should be minimum diameter of bars. So 32 divided by 4 will be coming around 8. So 8 mm is a minimum diameter of bars for transverse reinforcement. Okay. So in no case the diameter should be less than 6 mm. So minimum 6 mm diameter we have to provide. Okay. So few of the assumptions which are made in design of compression members are given below. So as per clause number 39.1, it is given in 38.1a to e, and compression member formulas are given in 39.1. So better I will open 39.1. So you can see over here, you can open page number 70. Okay, you can see, you can open page number 70. Limit state of collapse in compression. So assumptions which are made. So assumptions are given over here. The maximum compressive strain in concrete in axial compression member should be taken as 0.002 maximum compression strain. So maximum compression strain at highly compressed extreme fibers in column subjected to axial compression and bending, and when there is no tension on section, should be So maximum compressive strain in this, by considering this case, should be considered as 0.0035 minus 0.75 times the strain at least compressed extreme fiber. Okay, so after this we have to consider the minimum eccentricity while designing. So in practice, in practical construction, whenever we design the column only for axial load without any eccentricity, uh, it is not possible exactly at the site. Why? Because in site there might be man-made errors or accidental errors which induce eccentricity in column. That's what given over here. In practical construction, columns are rarely truly eccentric. So eccentric columns are very rare. Okay, even theoretical column loaded axially will have accidental eccentricity due to inaccuracy in construction or variation of material, etc. Accordingly, all the axially loaded columns shall be designed by considering the minimum eccentricity stipulated in clause number 25.4. So what they said, to avoid this problem, whatever the problems which are going to happen in the site due to which the eccentricity is going to induce on the column, so to avoid that, so to counteract that, not avoiding, to counteract that, we have to design all the axially loaded column for minimum eccentricity as per the clause number 25.4, which I have listed out here. So minimum eccentricity in y direction should be greater of, we have to consider minimum eccentricity should be greater than or equal to greater of these two. Okay, so which are those? L divided by L is unsupported length, so L divided by 500 plus capital D divided by 30 or 20 mm. So again, eccentricity in y direction should be greater of L divided by 500 plus B divided by 30 or 20 mm. Okay, where L, D and B are unsupported lengths, larger lateral dimension and least lateral dimensions respectively. So you can go through these minimum eccentricity criteria while designing the column. So we have to consider this minimum eccentricity while designing the column. So as this is as per clause number 25.4 of IS 456. Okay, so these are the criteria which we need to consider while designing the column. So this is about minimum eccentricity. Now there are some governing equations which are given in IS 456 for designing of column. So what we are going to do in next session, we are going to go through this governing equations and we are going to solve numerical problems on this. Okay, so by next session we are going to start with the problems. So what is the prerequisite of next session is you have to go through all these clauses. I suggest you to write the clause numbers and the page numbers as per IS 456 so that you can easily open those clauses in IS 456 while solving the problems. So you can just go through the clauses, write down the formulas or write down the data which is given in that clause with the page number which you are going to get, which is present in IS 456. So while solving the problem, it will make you easily, you can identify the clause and its page number. Okay, so you can go through it. Whatever we have studied in 2 sessions, you can just go through it. If you have any queries, you can raise it in next session. So in next session we are going to start with the problems. Thank you.